With security cameras becoming more affordable every day, we're starting to see a lot more Karens getting caught red-handed. With that being said, let's get into Karen moments caught on security cams. Starting things off in San Jose, this classy Karen thought she'd teach this innocent kid a lesson and cough on him.
I can't believe someone has a heart to do this, and why? Like, what? My child did nothing wrong.
She says this woman gruffly suggested Mireya was standing too close, not social distancing, even though surveillance video suggests otherwise. Then the lady made a statement that Mireya feels was racist.
She said, "You don't understand, and do you even understand what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not even speaking English."
The woman in her 60s then stepped towards Gabriel's stroller, pulled off her gray bandana face covering, and leaned down right over his shoulder.
He kind of looked up, scared, and she coughed in his face.
She coughed as many as 3 times intentionally, according to San Jose PD, which is now asking for the public's help identifying the woman. Mireya says Gabriel is just starting to eat again 10 days after the incident, and both of them have had difficulty sleeping. She says she can't get the woman's image out of her head, and she's afraid her baby boy is also reliving the same nightmares.
An Allendale couple in charge of organizing BLM rallies were forced to move out of their home due to their neighbor's constant race-fueled harassment.
The Millers say this surveillance video from July 10th last year shows their neighbor physically confronting Anthony as he walked across a parking lot near their home.
He just flipped out, like all out flipped out, started screaming and yelling, and us a bunch of liberals, and it kind of went sideways.
Yeah,
and it
much.
typically happened when Tony was home, more often than not. And then it escalated from there.
She says their neighbor began calling the family derogatory names online and even posted their address on social media.
I think it got worse too once he found out that we were organizing most of the rallies.
The couple has filed multiple police reports against their neighbor, but he hasn't been charged with anything related to the alleged incidents. They say the park allowed them to opt out of their lease with no penalty fees because they felt unsafe in their home. The regional director of Michigan's Anti-Defamation League says this sort of race-fueled harassment has grown in recent years. No longer living in the park, the couple says they would have liked to see their neighbor face greater consequences for his actions.
This Karen was caught spray painting her neighbor's garden red-handed. I guess she likes the color red.
Here she comes now.
There she is.
Oh, straight up nightgown.
Too.
Yeah, she's sure.
She's spraying.
See her spraying?
How hilarious.
She goes all the way down to the corner. But she hears a car coming. She'll kind of...
See how her looking?
Mm-hmm. Well, thank God she's stupid and didn't use Roundup instead of spray paint. You know what? Because that would have just been disastrous.
And we were sitting in here watching TV.
Karen must have realized that her neighbors had cameras a little too late because she's gone ahead and spray painted them after she was already filmed.
And when the
Yeah, what an idiot.
when the cops went up, Becky went over to talk to her, she would answer the door.
No, is this actual no, it's plastic.
Yeah.
So you might have to replace them.
See, we didn't even know that was paint.
Yeah, you don't see the black on the inside.
But she was out
She
there
starts
painting
here.
all this.
Starts right here. Goes
All the way down.
Oh my God. What's the point? Yeah.
And then, of course, that there is expensive.
This Karen really needed to clean up the edges of her lawn, so she poorly attempted to steal someone else's weed whacker.
You can see this car pulling up to a home in Colwood Hills. The woman casually walks towards the open garage door. The problem? She doesn't live here. Moments later, she walks out with a brand new weed whacker.
No, I was coming to pick it up.
A quick-thinking neighbor confronts the driver, who quickly gets back in her car and takes off empty-handed. The homeowner didn't want to go on camera, but tells me she feels violated.
Moving on to Northside Chicago now, we've got a pretty funny story. A woman stole this man's shovel to dig her car out of snow and she was caught on camera. Now just wait until you hear how this guy got his revenge.
The conflict began when David Wells went to build an igloo for his 2-year-old daughter and his shovel was gone. What he saw was a neighbor walking onto his property, grabbing his shovel without permission while letting her dog soil his yard to add insult to injury. He wouldn't have been upset if she'd simply brought the shovel back, but after digging out her car, the neighbor decided to take possession of the shovel, and that's when Wells took justice into his own hands.
You know, I got a new snowblower, so I was kind of excited to bury her car and teach her a minor lesson.
Wells couldn't resist the temptation to get even, and he buried his neighbor's car in snow. And then he watched the surveillance video later when the woman returned without the stolen shovel, brushing the snow off with a broom, a job that took her about 4 hours to complete, to the guilty delight of Wells.
This clip is a perfect portrayal of how your dog acts when you catch them doing something they know they shouldn't be doing.
Hello? Hello? Put that back, please. The lady next door. She just stole our package. Hello? Oh my gosh. I'll be outside in a minute to talk to you.
This next male Karen is a real piece of shit. From vandalizing this victim's home to yelling racist slurs, he's given her hell.
Racial slurs and offensive language spray painted on a woman's driveway.
He came to my door, kicking my door, and just talking really crazy.
Livingston and other witnesses say it's a neighbor on her street who's allegedly trespassing on her property. And this video from another neighbor's home allegedly catching that man in action a few days ago. You can see the unidentified guy in the white shirt and dark pants approaching Livingston's home singing. At one point, he throws food on the woman's property. And while walking away,
Gotta eat food.
he's heard yelling N-words, gotta eat too.
Wait.
Then he calls the woman his slave.
I just feel unsafe and I don't feel protected.
Livingston says she's called Denton County Sheriff's Office to her home 4 times since Wednesday and spent a few days in a hotel. The neighbor's been issued a criminal trespass warning, but Almazi questions why more isn't being done. Denton County Sheriff's Office says this remains an ongoing investigation. For now, supportive neighbors have helped pressure wash the driveway.
In New Jersey now, we have a Karen partaking in a childlike rampage in a store because she was having a bad day.
The bewildering onslaught started during the morning rush. That is a grown woman laying waste to this Harrison Quick Check, silently and methodically on a mission to destroy. The one thing she hasn't thrown on the floor is a can of Pringles, and she seems to want to pay for it, but on her way to the register, she stops at the energy drinks. See that bemused-looking gentleman in line with his paper? Happens to be the mayor of Harrison, stopping as he has every morning for 20 years to buy his wife Linda a cup of coffee.
If Linda doesn't get her coffee, yeah, that's her. No. The lady behind the counter, Mary, she's going, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with her?
And Mary isn't about to ring her up, so after standing around for a while, the wordless woman leaves the Pringles behind and heads for the parking lot.
If you thought the last clip looked expensive, then think again. This Karen destroys hundreds of bottles of alcohol in an English supermarket, which later led to her arrest.
Oh God, she's not right. She's cut with her right hand and covered in now. You go for that.
Get some eggs.
Good luck with that. Oh God. It's...
We can't go near her, Ramona. She's throwing bottles. She's bleeding. She's cut.
Yeah, she fell over into the glass.